Do we have a lot of trees on our playground?
Yep.
Can you show us some? What is peace to you?
Peace is when there's no fighting, no war, a good heart, helping other people when they need help. Like sometimes like silence and quietness, like alone time, helping somebody, helping yourself. I want everything to live their lives how they need to live their lives. Trees. The people sometimes near the trees and the animals that live in there, so like where the animals live, because they need the animals, like from food and like the other plants. The forest is important because it can do many things, but you don't just realize it. It can build buildings. It can give you better oxygen, and you can also build many things out of it. If something gets out of balance, everything could go like crazy. There could be too much brown-tailed cowhares, spiders. There could be too much leopards, cheetahs, anything there could be too much of.
Ruby, how else might stopping deforestation help other people?
All around, it technically would help everybody all around the world because trees suck up carbon from the atmosphere, and when they're burned and cut down, the carbon is able to escape out of the trees and go back into the atmosphere. If you cut down trees, people could die too. Yeah. And it won't be fun. It will be boring. Very horrible. Yeah. There is something that I know.
Yeah, what?
People in Laos, they showed that people had logs on this boat and it looked like they were sending them somewhere or getting them out of the water. This is Laos, this is Vietnam. Vietnam had a war that destroyed some of Laos, but mostly Vietnam. Vietnam is asking for wood from Laos. Some Laos people are giving the wood for money because it's a very poor country. Some people don't feel good about it because they're a poor country. Well, because they don't have that many trees either. And Vietnam is asking for it to build things and have fires and it's just. And you should see some of those pictures of when Vietnam is destroyed. It's crazy.
How do the people in Laos feel about their trees being cut down?
Really upset. It's so upsetting because there's a lot of deforestation and a lot of things in Laos happening. A lot of things are happening because of deforestation. The president of Laos is a very, very rich man that has a very fancy hangout garden that costs $615,000. I feel like it's not fair that the president of Laos has so much money and the regular people in Laos do just make $1, less than $1 a day. I think he should share his money because he has way, way more than the people in Laos. His job is really hard because he has to stop illegal logging and sell wood to China, Vietnam, and Laos. I think he should change the laws to stop the deforestation and the illegal logging. If they just divide their money and make it an equal number each, everybody will have an equal amount. So they'll be able to buy an equal amount of things and spend their money on is important things that they actually need. People really care about the forest. They even had meetings that had 100 people in it.
What were those people trying to do?
Oh, they were trying to stop deforestation in Laos. Bamboo is a very, very good natural resource because it grows faster than normal trees. But don't cut all of it down at the same time because then it won't grow back. It sucks a lot of carbon dioxide in and it does not let it out unless you burn it. It is very good for building, and a lot of people in Laos use bamboo to build tables, houses, boats, and even cities. The ranger elephants are protecting the forest. They protect the trees and other plants like that. They make sure no deforestation is going on, and sometimes they swim across a lake to get to the other side. They need the forest there because more elephants will die if the forest dies. There's not many of them left. There's only 1,000 elephants left. And these elephants are ranger elephants. If people in China don't stop asking for elephants' natural resource, in 2030, there will be no elephants in Laos. We're looking at a map of Bolivia, and it's showing you in color the climate. So that you can see that the whitish yellow is the high altitude bunch grass and scattered scrub, and the light green is mountain forest.
Nikki, how would the rainforest trees be different than something like in the scrubland or the savanna trees?
They're taller, lusher, and they're much larger than those trees. And they also have a very different climate than those trees too. Lots of Bolivia's rainforest is being threatened by people cutting down trees for farming and cattle range. They cut down 200,000 hectares of trees a year, which is an insane amount of trees. Farmers are cutting down trees in the rainforest because the mountains don't have the stuff to raise and grow crops. The rainforest is good for growing crops because the soil is so rich. That is why the farmers are farming there.
Oh, yeah. So is this like just any old tropical rainforest?
No.
Or is this like...
It's one of them. It's like, I'm pretty sure the biggest rainforest in the entire world.
Which rainforest is it?
It's the Amazon rainforest.
The Amazon rainforest, that's a big deal, isn't it?
And if that got cut down, we would probably die.
Yeah, all life on Earth would die.
Right.
All right, so Logan, you know a lot of information about forest fires. Why are they happening?
One, there's the farmers are doing slash and burn in a drought in Bolivia.
So the fires are breaking out of control?
Yeah, because it's too dry.
Can you show us the fires burning through the forest?
Yes.
Are there just small forest fires, Logan, or are they big?
Bit huge.
How big?
Like, maybe as big as this hallway. Go from like, can we go outside and show like the building as an example?
Sure.
Okay, look, film at the building, okay? About like 2 or 3 times that.
2 or 3 times the building
Yeah.
is all on fire?
Like, yeah, that pretty much.
Okay.
That is how they.
All of those tiny little red dots are where forest fires are happening in the Amazon. Oh, also it's on too.
Okay.
Right there is 1.3 million acres, okay? That's how big the fires are.
In Bolivia?
Yes.
Logan, how would you feel if you saw a fire that big?
Quite scared.
Yeah, that's really big.
In Bolivia in particular, the trees are, the climate change is pretty bad because there are a lot of wildfires, and when there's a wildfire, a bunch of trees get burned down and the stump gets burned down instead of just grinding up the stump. This is a picture of trees and the carbon inside them. There's a lot of carbon inside them, and the trees kind of store them inside their trunk, and the carbon is kind of sticking together because the tree can store so much carbon. This picture shows what happens when you burn the tree. When you're burning the tree, and all this carbon that was in the tree goes out because the tree is turning into ashes. It's kind of like a cycle. Carbon into the tree, then the tree gets cut down, then it gets burned, and then the carbon goes back up in the air. And that just keeps happening, but if we cut down all the trees, then it's gonna happen to the whole world.
In 2015 to 16, 395,000 hectares of trees were cleared in Queensland. This would be like this area, whole area would be cleared with trees in May. From Waterville past Augusta to Rockland, Camden, Belfast, and Bangor. That's how many trees would have been cut down. Loggers are cutting down the trees so people can have farms for cows and other animals.
In 5 years, 73% of the 1.6 million hectares of land cleared in Queensland was for beef.
Methane is 21 times better than carbon is. It makes it a lot warmer. The winters get warmer. Antarctica and the Arctic get warmer. The savannah gets warmer. Australia is getting super warm. And everywhere it's getting warmer. The methane gas goes up into the atmosphere, making the light so it can come in but not go out. And then when it tries to go out, it goes like this. Down, up, 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 until it finally gets liberated.
Okay.
I don't know what liberated means.
Most of the methane comes from burping. They have a special digesting system, and then less of it comes out from farting and pooping. The burps have the most methane gas. There's not very much trees around, which means that the trees can't take the methane that's released into the air, and then there's a bunch of climate change.
When the trees be cut down, it would look like this. And when it rains, it would wash away. Yeah, it would wash away.
What do the trees do to the soil?
It will grab the soil, and then when it rains, it won't. It won't
Wash away.
Yeah, it
Like,
won't wash
but because
away.
if it was like this, it would just wash away, and that it would just not wash away.
Yeah,
Well, it might wash away like 1 inch, but not too much.
yeah, not as much as this.
All right, so Hannah, can you show us what happens when the water washes on the soil with trees on it? Did your soil wash away?
Whatever, just do it. I'm just breaking everything. Just up here, just up Hello. Wow, that's a lot.
I mean, that's way
Too much.
to come out of that. Duh. Oh, there's part of my mud.
Yeah.
Is this happening in Australia?
Yes.
Why?
Because people are cutting down trees.
Yes.
Now, there's a bunch of coral reefs in Australia's ocean. And if
The
that,
Great Barrier Reef.
yeah, so if that soil goes into the ocean, what's it going to do to the Great Barrier Reef?
Kill animals.
Yeah, it's gonna kill the animals and like koalas or something like that, or bears,
Hey, what is that from octonauts?
or
Great Barrier Reef.
any animals.
The DRC is the second largest rainforest in the world, so you can probably tell that cutting it down is a big problem because the people get their meat and medicine from it. It also has volcanoes like Mount Nyiragongo, an active volcano in the Great Rift Valley. It also has grassy hills that are home to some villages, and of course there is jungle that is home to a lot of animals.
In 9 years, 4% of the forest will get cut down. And in 54 years, 24% of the forest will get cut down. And in 81 years, 36% will get cut down. And in 117 years, 52% will get cut down.
Right there is about 25% of the DRC rainforest. So in 54 years, 25% of it will be cut down. When 25% of the DRC forest is cut down, then the ecosystem will fall because all of the other quarters won't work.
People from the World Bank are coming to Congo and asking the people if they can cut down their trees. People of Congo agree because they think they will get hospitals and schools built.
The hospitals in the DRC don't have enough money to get care for their patients, so the mattresses on the beds are really thin right there, and the stuff under the mattresses are made out of wood, so the patients don't get enough comfort, and the people who work at the hospital don't have enough money to care for them, so the patients can't heal, and so the World Bank came in and cut down all their trees. They said, they cut down all their trees, and they were gonna get hospitals and money and schools, but they didn't. And they got beer and sugar and salt and soap, and they would have gotten money for hospitals and money for just stuff in the hospital, but it wasn't fair, so they didn't.
World Bank is taking advantage on people who can't read. And the World Bank makes them sign paper. If they can't read, they sign the paper, and it lets the World Bank get an opportunity to cut down the trees. So that's why it's really important for them to go to school.
What's bushmeat?
It's something where an animal's probably kind of behind a bush, and then it the people get it and eat it.
Why is bushmeat important to them? Go ahead.
Because it's their food! And if there's no trees, then the animals don't live in the bushes. And if there's no trees, then the people can't get any food.
I'm going to show you how they sort of get their bush meat, which is technically the animal hides behind the bush and then boom.
And then they take the animal and they get all their stuff off. And normally with a pangolin, they would get their shells for medicine and their skin for meat to eat. And that's technically what would happen.
Okay.
The reason we need you to donate is because the fires are getting really out of control.
The firefighters don't even have enough water or equipment to put out the situation. We're really asking you to donate so that we can help them put the fires out and so that they can save a lot of animal habitats. You can help save animals and plants in the Amazon by donating to Bolivia's firefighters so they can buy equipment and things like hoses and things to put out the fires so that they can take down these fires and save the rainforest and animals.
Your contributions will directly support our on-the-ground fire prevention and response activities. Done.
Why should people donate to the DRC? Go ahead, say so.
Because if we give them more trees or seedlings, it can repair the problems that we made by cutting down all the trees.
If you give us at least $20, that buys 200 seedlings that are ready to be planted. If you give us at least $30, that buys equipment for planting 1,000 seedlings. And $60 buys a 20-kilo bag of mats.
$150 pays the monthly allowance of a tree planter. $300 pays the monthly allowance of a community mobilizer. $1,000 trains a group of 20 farmers to plant trees.
Okay, guys, give me some thumbs up. $5,000 trained charcoal producers.
The elephants are good for the forest because they help the plants grow, and the plants can create nice, clear oxygen for us to breathe, and it isn't bad. The elephants are good for the forest because when they poop, that makes the soil, that will help the soil, which will help the plants. And with no plants, then nothing would be alive, not even the elephants. You should raise money to free the elephants and to get them new habitats.
Raise money for monitors so people see where elephants are so they can protect them.
We need to raise money for the forest rangers so they can train and multiply and protect the forest. We need to raise money for the local people in Laos so they can make a bigger protective space for the elephants so they can bond with their wild cousins. Instead of eating beef, you should eat kangaroo meat. Because every year in Australia, a lot of kangaroos are eating like the plants and stuff.
They even make farms for all the cows, and then they cut down a bunch of trees for the cows, and the cows also make methane.
Down, up, down, up, down, up. The methane.
You don't need a farm to eat kangaroos in Australia.
Raise money for the sustainable table to eat kangaroo meat instead of beef. Kangaroo population keeps growing bigger and bigger.
Raise money for the sustainable table. You should eat kangaroo because then there would be enough plants in Australia and we would be like the wolves of kangaroos.
Sorry, boring teacher stuff coming through. Just wanted to make sure that anybody who is thinking about donating understands that I've actually done background checks on each organization that the students have selected, just to make sure that we're not just sending our money out into the internet ethers and keeping our fingers crossed that nothing weird happens to it. So all of those organizations are totally legitimate. They're well supported. They have great background checks on them. So please feel good about where that money is going to go to. We're asking for donations in the form of cash. You can write checks to our school, and you can even visit our school website and hit the donate button, and that should take you through the whole thing of where to donate your money to. Or you can also donate your money directly to the organizations themselves. I'll post links down below so that you can click on them, you can check the organizations out, and you can donate directly to them. But if you decide to do that, please just make sure that you let our classroom know that you've donated directly to them. And this is because one of the most important parts of this whole learning experience is so that the Robin students can kind of like see how effective their message was. So when they count and tally their donation totals, they can really get excited about their message getting out to people hearing them, listening, feeling moved by it, and then sending money to the things that they've chosen. So, you know, by all means, whatever you're comfortable with, please do that. But don't forget to just let us know so that the students feel that sense of accomplishment. The biggest part of the whole thing is to have them walk away from this project feeling really capable. And I want that feeling to stick with them for the rest of their lives. So let's help them make a really big impact and make this experience really awesome for them. Thanks, everybody.
If you had a message for anybody watching our movie, what would you want them to know or do or learn?
If someone believed that they could save the trees, they could slowly and slowly start to save the trees. They could slowly start to tell people not to cut down the trees and slowly fix their life. And if you just believe, if you go to bed and you believe it and you see it in your mind, then one day it will happen. Although I think you have 10. Where? Oh, yeah, it was a tick, but it did bite me up.
Okay.
The DRC is the second.
Okay.
It's so hard. Okay. The DRC. This is so hard.
You don't have to talk quite that loud.
Wait, what do I do?
You're gonna start reading your thing.
Okay, read the part. I don't know what to say.
Kit, she needs help.
Well, it's
Nice and loud, and you gotta look
it's
at.
a big open area.
Ask your person's back, please.
What do I say? Whoa. Hey, I mean, pause.
Louder.
Like I said, DRC. Like I am. Maybe it's an elephant. You're taking a bath.
Okay.
It's shelter. No!
Jack. Logan, are you okay?
He's serious. A lot of time. Because there's only 1,000 left. Because there's only 1,000 elephants left. Well, that's not sadness. No, that is not sadness, Jack. No, it is not. That is pain. And by the way, this is about peace, Jack, not sadness. That isn't even the subject here.
Robbie, you can't peel the bark off of the birch tree during our documentary about treating trees good. Oh my word. Sorry, Ruben. Say it again. Jack, turn around.
And no wiggling around.
He can wiggle some degree, it's fine, but don't.
I'm still in the front
Jack, are you ready for this?
Of a tree planter, and 300 pays the monthly allowance of community mobilizer.
Jack, put the. I don't know sure what you're doing. You guys have. What do you guys want the audience to know about?
The world, so you can probably tell that cutting it down is a big problem because the people get there in the Great Rift Valley. It also has grassy hills that are
That was nearly perfect, except for Jack was wiggling his butt in the background.
But I don't have to. I burped 3 minutes.
Okay, let's get into this. Let's go.
most of the methane comes from